M3. Who'd have guessed that one letter and one number could mean so much? Hi guys, welcome back to Ridebook TV, and yep, you guessed it, today we are looking at the BMW M3. The M3 has been with us now for over 30 years. It began with the E30, a car that rewrote the performance rulebook. And ever since, the M3 has been the benchmark performance car. And now, generations on, it's developed and has been honed. Now we have this, the F80 M3. And well, actually, this F80 actually went out of production a few months ago, which is very, very sad. Now, before we go on, take a look around this car in more detail. This exact car is actually for sale at Ridebook Shrewsbury BMW. So please, if you want to check out this car in more detail, it's got some fabulous specification, do please click on the link in the top of the screen. Have you done that? Have you checked this car out? Good. Now let me explain why this generation of M3 is one of my absolute favourite cars. Well, a lot of what appeals about this car is to do with its looks. Just take it in. It's subtle yet aggressive. And I think, especially in this Sakhir Orange paintwork, it looks sublime. Now, this particular car has got an extra bit of carbon fibre. So this has got the M Performance carbon fibre body kit. So you've got the blades down here and the splitter in full carbon fibre. Now, of course, this has the signature M power bulge on the bonnet, which hides the beating heart, which we'll have a look a little bit later. But if we continue to move around, it's just beautiful, isn't it? And depending on what specification you go for, you can either have this to look like an aggressive, snarling monster, or if you want it to be a bit more subtle with your performance car, you can. Specify this thing in black, and it's just an incredible, incredible sleeper. As we move along the flanks, I think it just gets better. And I actually think that the angle that you're looking at the car at now is my favourite. You've got the air breathers down here, which add a great little bit of drama. The wheels are great, but look at this rear arch. This is my favourite thing about this car. It's massive. And the M3, as I've said, has developed. So now it's only available, well, it was only available, and it's now gone, as a 4-door, which means that you can get a couple of child seats in the back of there and scare your children half to death with this car. I mean, I love this thing, and it's such a shame that it's now gone out of production. But of course, you can still get them on the approved used market. Now, the rear, it just gets better here. Now, you've got the typical quad exhaust pipes, which sound incredible. When this car was first launched, everybody was a little bit skeptical about it would sound, because obviously the previous shape had the V8. Then this changed to the 6-cylinder. But honestly, it sounds ungodly, as you'll hear right now. Now, this particular car has, as I've already mentioned, got the carbon fibre element. So we've got this beautiful carbon fibre ducktail spoiler and the carbon fibre diffuser around the exhausts. Boot space is extremely reasonable. There's an awful lot of space in there because, again, this is based on the BMW 3 Series. It's just phenomenal that you can get a 400 horsepower plus performance car with this much space and usability. This car is just phenomenal. And then let's go and take a look inside, shall we? So as we move into the interior, it's very familiar BMW, as you'd expect. Based on the 3 Series, the architecture is very, very similar. You've got all of your air conditioning controls in the centre here, your automatic headlights, all that shebang. You've got everything in this car. But there are telltale differences which signify this car as an M car. So firstly, immediately, we've got this gorgeous carbon fibre interior trim throughout. Steering wheel is slightly different. We've got the M stitching within. Gear selector is different to signify the dual clutch transmission. And then there's these seats. These are the M seats, and they are just outstanding. Really hug your body, and it's just a comfortable place to be. Now, as an M3, you get so much standard equipment. So we've got heated seats, we've got cruise control. In this particular car, we've got adaptive LED headlights with high beam assistant. We've got Harman & Kardon sound system. The list just goes on and on. This really is a fabulous, usable, everyday car with just one of the best put together interiors of any car I've been in. Now, before we go and have a drive, I'm itching to drive this thing because, well, it's an M3, why wouldn't you? Let's just pass over to myself in voiceover to talk about the beating heart of this thing. The engine is a twin-turbo 3-litre 6-cylinder, producing 431 horsepower. When mated to the 7-speed DCT gearbox, 0 to 62 is dealt with in just 4.1 seconds, and it will go on to a limited top speed of 155 miles an hour. For those eagle-eyed viewers among you, you will have noticed that this is not a competition package M3. The comp has even more power and a tweaked chassis. All the power is put to the road by the rear wheels only. You could also get the M3 in an extremely rare 6-speed manual gearbox if you wanted even more engagement. So the M3, what makes it so brilliant? Well, firstly, there's the comfort. Okay, so this is a 400 horsepower super saloon, and it's so incredibly easy to drive. I think that is one of the first things that I would say about this. We're on some pretty rough, terrible roads at the minute, and it's actually so incredibly comfortable, helped no doubt by these amazing M seats. It just feels so supple, so easy to drive. The gearbox, when you first jump into it, does take some getting used to, because, let me just explain that. This is the 7-speed DCT. And for those of you who have driven a fully automatic gearbox, when you release your foot off the brake, they creep forwards, don't they? This doesn't do that. This DCT needs to almost be activated using the throttle. So if you're not used to it, you could jump into this and just, it's quite jerky to begin with. But once you're used to it, honestly, this is incredibly easy to drive. This is an M3. This is, it's one of the fastest cars on the road, but yet it's so incredibly easy to drive. The best way I would describe this car is very dual personality. As I've mentioned, the first part is that really quiet, really easy to drive side of it, because it genuinely is very easy to drive. It's no harder to drive than the 3 Series on which it's based. It's got fantastic technology in here. Everything is as you would expect from BMW. You've got your dual zone climate control, you've got heated seats, you've got cruise control, you've got a large infotainment screen, which is just one of the best in the business, satellite navigation, and many, many more. So that's the one side of this car's personality. What about the other? Well, if I press this little button here, M1, it just wakes the car up and turns it into an absolute animal. It just comes alive. The roads are very slippery today, so drop it down a gear. I mean, come on, how can you argue with this? It's just so much fun, even at very, very low speeds. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, this thing. That engine up front is just fabulous. It is a real masterpiece in my opinion. And well, the looking out of here, you've got the big power balls in front of you, which just adds so much drama to it. And the gearbox, oh wow. It's just, it's just an absolute animal. It's a riot. It gives you so much joy when you're at the wheel. It's, as you can tell, I really enjoy this thing. This car is absolutely phenomenal. I adore the way that it drives. That real split means that you can really just enjoy it on a daily basis. It's comfortable on one hand, and then the next, you drop it down. Oh, I love it! What a machine! Where can BMW take this car next? What can they do with this that's going to top this incredible machine? Honestly, I don't know. What can they do? I really don't know. I love the M3. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. As I've already mentioned, this car is for sale, so do please go and check it out using the link in the description and in the top corner of the screen. Please hit that subscribe button and like this video if you like what you see and you'd like to see more. As always, thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you next time.